I love our next guest. I go way back with him. I say this anytime I bring him on, but he is truly the best, the greatest mixed martial arts journalist in the world, and really truly in the history of the world. And any MMA Journalist of the Year award should be called the Ariel Helwani Award. And someday, hopefully, many decades from now, I mean, I'm talking 100 years from now, the Ariel Helwani Memorial Journalist of the Year Award. Yeah, that's right. The one, the only, ESPN's Ariel Helwani. Good morning, my friend.
What a bizarre intro. You go from like glowing me for 5 minutes and then now you say you're talking about the Memorial Award, like my days are coming to an end. This is just let's not get into how you even texted me this morning, which I had to read 4 times.
I was trying to talk about how much I loved you, and I didn't want you to feel pressure to come on, Ariel.
It's a very sort of like, hey, we're this small market, no one cares about us, please, It's like a very sort of, as a proud Jewish person, I know all about Jewish guilt, and I know you're not a member of the tribe.
Excuse me, my mother, I am half, absolutely, 50%.
Well, actually, then you're full. You're full. If your mother is Jewish, that means you're.
Is that how it works?
It goes by the mom.
See, I'm not a good one then. I'm ignorant, but I do have.
Is Dave a Jewish last name? I mean, I know Carmichael is not really a Jewish first name, but is Dave a Jewish last name?
Yes, David. It's actually my family all calls me Carmichael David. So.
Gotcha.
You know how that goes. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was reading this morning, which is difficult, and Conor McGregor and Dustin and Charity and what is going on with this? And is this a thing or is this a negotiating thing? What's your take?
This is a battle of two egos. It's a. Can I say pissing? Can I say a pissing match?
You can say yes, a pissing match.
That's what's going on here. Dana White and Conor McGregor don't really see eye to eye right now, and Conor's frustrated that he hasn't been able to fight in 2020 as much as he has wanted to, and Dana and company want to keep him for the winner of the Khabib-Gaethje fight, and he's basically going rogue, trying to do a fight with Manny Pacquiao, and then he's like, hey, Dustin Poirier, why don't we do a charity match? And so the UFC's response to that was like, oh, yeah, you guys want to do a charity match? Well, here's a contract. How about you do that match for us because you're both contracted to us? And now Conor's sort of ignoring that, and Dana's getting upset and doing media and saying that he blew it, that they were going to do the Ultimate Fighter with Khabib. I mean, it's just dizzying every day back and forth. You have two, sort of larger-than-life egos not wanting to stand down, and they're doing this kind of publicly, and I don't think it's good for anyone. I think it's a travesty that Conor has only fought 40 seconds in 2020 when he was very much willing and ready to fight way more than that. So I don't know if we'll see him again this year, but he's trying to push the issue. The Pacquiao thing is a lot more real than the Poirier match, charity match, whatever you want to call it. The Pacquiao thing actually has legs to it. Does it ultimately happen? I don't know. But that one is not just some sort of pie-in-the-sky idea that he threw out just to, get some likes and retweets.
Interesting with the leverage. Would you agree at the idea that Conor McGregor has the immediate leverage when it comes to he and Dana White, but the main thing Dana has is father time, where Conor's not 21 anymore, and does that kind of even it out, or do you think the leverage game favors one or the other?
I think immediately, to your point, Conor has that leverage. He has the advantage. He's a big star, but ultimately, what wins out in these situations? You've been following the sport for a very long time. I'm sure you remember Randy Couture versus the UFC,
yep.
and he tried to push them, and what won out, it was the contract, right? They have a contract with him, and there's several fights left on that contract. And so, he might regret signing such a long-term deal with them, but the facts are he has that long-term deal with them, so he can't just go out and do something. Even if he does the Pacquiao fight, they have to be on the same page. They have to give him essentially the green light to do it. In fact, they have to be a part of the deal like the Mayweather fight. So that's what ultimately will win out. And I think the UFC is doing really well right now. Ratings are well. The pay-per-view numbers have been very good. They've benefited greatly from coming back first and gaining a lot of new fans in the midst of the pandemic. I don't think that they're, quaking in their boots because he's not fighting right now. but I do think he has a lot more leverage than your average Joe fighter. It's just a matter of, does the UFC want to prove the point that no one is bigger than the UFC? That's always been their MO. And right now, I think they're intent on proving that point and not let him gain any more leverage.
Ariel Helwani joining us for a couple more minutes. Ariel, I always feel like Dana White has a get-out-of-jail-free card in his back pocket, and that's Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz 3. Do you still think that's on deck? Do you still think we see that fight at some point?
I mean, I think it would be crazy if we. There's zero talks of it right now. There were talks of Diaz fighting Masvidal again, and now they've pivoted and they're trying to do Masvidal versus Covington because Covington is so hot right now, and obviously there's a grudge match there and a long-standing relationship that has turned into a rivalry. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Like you can announce Diaz and McGregor right now, and everyone knows the backstory, and everyone's seen the first two fights, and it's an easy million-plus pay-per-views, no doubt about it. But for some reason, they've been reluctant to go there. They sort of kicked the cans on it last year, but then it kind of fizzled. So yeah, it's there, and excuse me, it's there, and I think it's a no-brainer. But as of right this second, there's zero talks of making that fight again.
You and I have covered the UFC for a very long time, and when I look at danger zones for Dana White and the company, in no particular order, the Loretta Hunt incident sticks out. The Floyd Mayweather-Conor McGregor trash talk press conferences that got very uncomfortable stick out. Would you put Dana's flirtations with Colby Covington and all the baggage that goes with that, both Dana and Colby, do you think that's approaching that level of issue and some of the things Colby says and the tacit endorsement, if you will, of the UFC and Dana White, or am I overthinking it?
No, I don't think you're overthinking it at all. I don't know if I put it in the same bucket as Mayweather-McGregor stuff because that was uncomfortable and handled poorly towards the end. This is equally uncomfortable, and I think. Oh,
hello. Oh, are you hearing? Is he? Sorry, Ariel. That's our fault. Go ahead. Yeah. We had a feed.
No problem.
All you.
No problem. And I think that it's equally uncomfortable for different reasons to see how this is being handled. Look, Colby Covington is a fighter, and he has realized that if he plays up this character of being the MAGA guy, it's going to get him a lot of attention, and it has, and the ratings are good, and everything that he does is gaining steam. He's on fire right now, like I said. And that's one thing. And I think that his comments post-fight against Tyron Woodley were repulsive and racist.
Yep.
And he should be reprimanded, but he hasn't been reprimanded. And then for the UFC and Dana White in particular to do a press conference and say, I didn't hear anything that was racist, that blows my mind. And then to hear him say that we don't reprimand fighters for speech, that blows my mind. And by the way, that's not true because Frank Mir lost his WEC job when he said that he was going to kill Brock Lesnar. Miguel Torres was fired from the UFC when he sent out a tweet that was very, very offensive.
Yep.
Nate Diaz was fined when he sent out a homophobic tweet. So people have been reprimanded, and for them to just wash their hands, and one could come up with the hypothesis that the reason why they're washing their hands of this situation is because he is friends with Donald Trump. Regardless of the case, it's a very uncomfortable time because we're always told to stick to sports, right?
Right.
But we're told that by people who don't believe in the same ideologies that we believe in. When it fits their narrative, then it's okay to not stick to sports. But when it goes against their narrative, then you must stick to sports. And right now, I will be honest, the UFC isn't sticking to sports, and that makes for an uncomfortable situation for a lot of people who feel like these comments should not be said at press conferences, and certainly should not be just kind of let go by the company. It would be nice to see the company condemn racist comments. They haven't done that, and that's disappointing.
He's the best in the business, Ariel Helwani. Follow him at Ariel Helwani, ESPN, so many different shows, including the MMA show, Ariel and the Bad Guy, my guy, Chael Sonnen. I love seeing them go back and forth, same with Daniel Cormier. And really, we don't mention this enough, brought 3 beautiful children into this world. Yes.
Wow.
We should really end on that note because that is by far your best accomplishment. Thank you, buddy.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me, guys.